Okay, I wanted to show you guys where I got the word Bashar for gospel. Okay, so Ephesians 6:15, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. You're going to click tools on the left-hand side, and you're going to go down to where it says gospel. So it's G 2098 Euangelion. You're going to click on the G 2098, and you see it says Euangelion.
Strong's G 2098 Euangelion.
Or
Euangelion.
Euangelion. All right, so then when you click on that, it says a reward for good tidings, good tidings. And this is important to see what it says, because when you go down here, it says view Old Testament results in the Greek concordance, or the Greek lexicon concordance. All right, so it's going to pull up verses in the Old Testament that have this word. When one told me, so 2 Samuel 4:10, you see it says good tidings right here. Okay, let me underline this real quick. You see it says good tidings. So when we click on tools and we find good tidings, I want you to look over here where it says this. Now, according to the Masoretes, because the dalet on top of the shan is the middle letter. So you have bayath, shan, rosh, right? Because of the dalet, the dot, the nakud, being on the top left-hand corner, according to the Masoretes, that is an S. But in the Paleo, we have an S. That's the samak, right? We do not need another letter to make the S sound. So the shan in the Paleo always makes the sh sound. It's always shan. There's the nakud is something that was made up by men, okay? That's important for you to understand, because it's going to show that it's pronounced differently. So H 13:19. You see how it says right here, it says Bashar, but that's not how you would pronounce it in the Paleo. You would pronounce it Bashar, okay? To bear news, bear tidings, publish, preach, show forth, to gladden with good news, to bear news, to announce as good news, so on and so forth, right? But then look at this. You go to Leviticus 7. We're going to go down to verse 15 again. They're both verse 15. And the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until the morning. So we're going to go to tools. We're going to go to and the flesh. So this is what I want you to see. This is why they did that. First and foremost, even in the Masoretic text, it's still the same, because you see where the dalet is on the left hand corner, which would make it basar according to the Masoretes, but it's still bashar. So the flesh is bashar, the same as good tidings, right? We click on that. We click on that, and you can see right here how it says it's from 13:19, which is what we saw good tidings to be. We'll look at that in a second. But when you look at this, it says flesh of the body of humans, of animals, so on and so forth. And then you click on this and it takes you back to the same one that we just saw. To bear news, bear tidings, publish, preach, show forth, to gladden with good news, so on and so forth. But we're going to go back to this because I want you to see this. When you look at both of these words in the Paleo, that's the exact same word. Bayath Shan Rosh. Bayath Shan Rosh. It doesn't change in the Paleo. Mankind, the Masoretes, they added the nakud in order to get people to say these words the way they wanted to. But the same word for good tidings is the same word for flesh, which is Bashar. But then I also want to show you this. So we're going to go to John 6:51. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. So go to tools. We're going to find flesh. So here it is. It says Sarks G4561. Okay. When you click on that, you're going to see the definition, which is flesh, body, the body of a man, so on and so forth. And what we need to do is we need to go down to the view Old Testament results in the lexicon Greek concordance to see where this word is used in the Septuagint. So that's what I meant to say before, Septuagint, not lexicon. So the Septuagint is the Greek Old Testament, right? So the same words that's used in the Septuagint are used in what we call the New Testament, right? So you're going to see where this word is also used in the Greek Old Testament. But it's going to show it in Hebrew. So it shows you the first place you find it is Genesis 2:21. And Yahuah caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. So go to tools. We're going to go find the word flesh. And wouldn't you see here, Bashar. And we already know that this word right here, the root is 1319, which is good tidings, right? The good news of peace, the flesh of peace. And Yahusha is good news, because without him, we do not have peace with Yahuah. So I just want to show you guys the reason why I'm saying Bashar for flesh. And again, the reason why I'm not saying Basar, because that's how the enemy is trying to deceive us with this Nakud. That is something that man produced on their own. There were no dots and dashes and all the other stuff on the ancient Hebrew words. It was just pictures that was later, turned into characters, but it was pictures. So Bayath Shan Rash is the word for flesh and good tidings, which is Bashar. And Yahusha said that we're supposed to eat his flesh or eat his good news, right? Right? And the good news is that he gonna die. He died for us, right? The testimony, who he is, because who he is matters in him dying for us. Because, if he was just some random, Joe Schlo, Joe Schmo on the side of the road, then it wouldn't really matter about his death. Like, his death wouldn't affect any of us, but his death, burial, and resurrection affects us because of who he is, which is good news, good tidings, because of the flesh of peace, the testimony of peace, right? Good tidings is just testimony, right? So I just want to show you guys where I was getting that from, because it's very important to know these things, to see these things, and know that I'm not just pulling it out of thin air. When I say Bashar, I'm saying Bashar for a reason. And I'm saying it according to what Yahuah originally made it be, and not according to what man formed it into. And man formed it into this so you wouldn't be able to see the picture the way Yahuah had laid it out. Okay. The other thing I want to show you guys was, I think I mentioned it in the other video, but in case I didn't, I want to show you guys, let me get that off of there. When I go to Matthew 6, let me go back up. Matthew 6, I want you to see what verse 10 says. It says, "Give us this day the risen bread of tomorrow." Now, this is the Safer app, okay? This is the Safer app. Keep that in mind. I took a picture of what it says in my Safer Bible, like my tangible Safer. First of all, that was verse 10 on the app. In the tangible Bible, it's verse 11, and it says, "Give us this day our daily bread." This is the reason why we cannot rely on these things, because they have changed it in the app to say something different. Give us this day the risen bread of tomorrow. Like what even does that mean? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we know what it means, but why change it? Because again, I have a tangible, safer Bible that says what you see on the screen. Give us this day our daily bread. But in the app, it now says, give us this day the risen bread of tomorrow. And you can see here it says that it's verse 11, whereas before it's verse 10. And what they did was they compiled everything from verse 9 and 10 into verse 9 on the app now. This is why it's important to have Yahuwah's Ruach. You cannot rely on technology or these Bibles. These because the enemy is constantly messing with this written word, but you got to know the word in the flesh, the word in the Bashar. Yahusha is the Debar. Debar is word. Yahusha is the Debar of Yahuah in the Bashar. And because I mentioned it, I just want to show you guys so you guys understood. Word, Debar. Dalath Bayath Rash. So when it talks about Yahusha, let's see, being the word of Yahuwah, he is the Debar. And the word was made flesh. Oh, this is a good one. So logos, click on that. Speech, word, uttered, living. Uttered by living, the sayings of Yahuwah. And then go down here. Genesis 4. It says speech right here, right? My speech. But you can also go and actually find where it says words, and their words pleased. Words. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to use one of these that says words. Actually, let me see, Deuteronomy. No, we'll go back up here. Make it easy. So where was it again? Genesis 34:18. Let's look at words. It's the same. Debar. Okay. And then if you backtrack and you look at flesh, there's this word again, sarx, the same as in John 6. So we already know when we click on this, this is going to take us to Bashar. Bashar. So the Debar was made Bashar. Okay. I just want to share that to you guys. All right. Much ahab and shalom.